Hello and welcome to another edition of the Crafting Guru and a brand new project. Now in this particular video I'm going to show you how to make the ready-made bow tie. Now this is a Christmas one that I happen to make at Christmas time, but it's really effective and it's exactly the same as the ones that you see in the shop. So your classic black or white bow tie, it's exactly the same. There's no difference at all. Now there is various ways of making a bow tie, but this is the most modern and it is the one that the industry do. So I'm going to be showing you the way the industry make the bow tie. So you have the original classic bow tie to wear for any special event. Nevertheless, let's get started on the equipment that you're going to need. So we'll just put this out of the way. So, of course, you're going to need your sewing machine. That's a given. You're going to need your sewing machine. Now, before you start, you're going to need to print off the bow tie pattern. Now, this can be found in a PDF format, a PDF file, sorry. And it is next to this video. So print this off and that's all you need, okay? Now we're going to go over the pattern in a moment, but first of all we're going to go over all of the equipment that you're going to need. So you need your pattern, so print that off and then you've got that. And then you're going to need your fabric. Now the bow tie, I would get about 1 metre by 1 metre fabric, okay? So it's 100 centimetres, 1 metre by 1 metre, and that will be able to give you way enough fabric to create your bow tie. You'll probably be able to get 2 or 3 out of that if you really place your pattern pieces in the correct order. But nevertheless, that's what you need because the straps are quite long, okay? So you need 1 metre of fabric. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to make the bow tie in this fabric, okay? It's a cotton and it's your classic check, okay? Looks like a kind of a gingham check, red and white, and of course you can see this really easy in the video. Now when I make bow ties, okay, I did make the Christmas one there, so it does look very Christmassy, but I usually make a black one. Now a black bow tie is not very good on camera because you can't really sort of see what I'm doing, so that's why my fabric is really bright and cheerful. So you need your fabric. Now you're also going to need interfacing. Now I would get a medium weight interfacing. Now you can ask this in the shop that you're buying your fabric from, if you're buying it from there, that what interfacing will go and match the fabric that you're buying. Usually go for the weight of interfacing that you have for the weight of your fabric. Okay, so if you're going for a standard medium cotton, go for a standard medium weight interfacing. And that's the basic rule. You know, same weight interfacing for the same sort of weight fabric. Okay, so this interfacing is iron on, so it's smooth on one side, bobbly on the other, and it's an iron on interfacing. Now of course all interfacings are like that nowadays. They're all very easy to attach and fuse onto the fabric, and they're all done with heat. I mean, there is interfacings where you can just sew in, but this is the interfacing that I'm going to be using. Is going to be one that you iron onto the fabric. The glue melts and it bonds to your fabric. Pattern there. Now you're going to need all of your basic equipment. You're going to need your fabric scissors and your paper scissors. Now I do say this in every video, don't get your fabric scissors mixed up with your paper scissors, because if you're cutting out fabric with your paper scissors, it will blunt them, and the other way around. Okay, so fabric scissors, cutting paper with them, it'll blunt them. Don't do that. So always keep your fabric and paper scissors separate, or your pattern construction scissors. Keep them separate. Threads. Now because my fabric is white and red, as you can see there, I've got a white and red thread. Standard cotton thread, okay, and there's various makes. I mean, you've got Coates, you've got Gutterman, I think there's, well, Metler, that's an embroidery thread, Silco, all of these are good threads that you can use. These are not the most expensive, they're just a standard Coates thread. So white and red thread, so get the thread which is the exact same colour as the fabric that you are going to be creating your bow tie in. Of course, that goes without saying, really, doesn't it? An unpicker, because we all make mistakes, you know. There you're gonna need an unpicker if you make a mistake. Little fabric scissors, little embroidery scissors. These are perfect for cutting the threads once you've done a certain part on your project. So those. Tape measure. Now I always have a tape measure which has got centimetres on one side, inches on the other, and it's perfect for that. Hand sewing needles, because we're going to do a very, very small amount of hand sewing right at the very, very end, which you'll see at the end. And you're going to need a hook and bar system for the bow tie itself. Okay, now you will be able to see this closer up as we go, because I'll be putting this in as we go. But it's a 3-part hook and bar system for a bow tie. You've got the slider, we've got here the hook, and we've got the bar. Now, you can buy these from a trimmings merchant. So if you can't get your bow tie clasp system from your local haberdashery shop, look on the internet and type into Google trimmings merchants, okay, or hook and bar clasp set, and you will be able to find it and order it, and you will get the exact same set that I've got. Now I can't remember what they call this particular set as a make, but they're all the same. They're all the same, okay. And that's literally all you need. That's all the equipment that we need to get started on our bow tie. So now that we've got that, and we've got everything ready, we can now get started on the pattern. So here we are, and we've got our pattern in front of us. Now, before we cut out the pattern itself and put it on the fabric, I'm just going to go over the pattern and the information that's on there. Now, there's 3 different parts to the pattern. We've got our main bow part here, we've got the bow tie strap, and we have the small bow part strap. So if I get my original bow tie here, as you can see, this here that you can see there is the main bow part. This here is your main bow tie strap, and this part is the small bow strap, which attaches round the middle. So that's literally the makeup of the bow tie, and then you've got your hook and bar slider there, with the little hook at the other side, the little bar that side, and the hook here. Okay, so that's the makeup of the bow tie. Now it says on this pattern here that please note that these parts here are not to scale, yet this one is. So what I've done is I've put the measurements that you need on here for the correct sizes. Now those measurements do include all of the seam allowances. So that's the measurements that you need there and here. Okay, so for instance, it's saying here this is 6 centimeters wide. On the pattern you can clearly see that's not 6 centimeters wide, that's 3 centimeters. So it needs to be 6 centimeters wide. Okay, so they are not to scale, yet this bow part, the main bow part, is to scale. So what we're going to do is cut out your pattern. Get your paper scissors, and carefully cut out all of the pattern pieces. So like I said, there's only 3. Like so. Now I'm just going to cut out one, and then I'll come back to you, okay, when I've cut them all out. And what we'll do is we'll place them on the fabric and cut out the fabric as well. So just carefully cut round, like so. Like that. Okay. So these parts, I suggest not cutting these out. Now I'll show you how to do that in a moment, because they're literally, all they are is straightforward oblong pieces, which you don't really need a pattern for. All you need is your tape measure. Okay, so what we can do is cut these out on the fabric as we go along. And it's really, really simple. It's a lot easier than you think. So it saves you cutting them out. So just keep this here for your information, really. But this part you do need. Now it's cut to fold. So what that means is we'll put that on the fold of the fabric, yeah, and it will just be cut so that it's double length, so to speak. Okay, and we're cutting 2 of those, and we're also going to be cutting out interfacing as well. So I'm going to get my fabric, place my pattern on the fabric, and we can start cutting out our bow tie. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my fabric laid out here. Now this part here is to fold, okay, because it means that the fabric is folded over, as you can see there. So that's the part where our pattern piece goes onto, like so. Now you can do this in 2 ways, because we need 2 of these, okay. So you can cut out, pin this on here, yeah, on the fold, like that, cut round it, yeah, and then move your pattern and cut another one. Or, what you could do is simply place your bow part on there, okay, and pin it, like so, pin that, and pin here, and pin round, cut around here, to this point here, and then cut round here to this point here. When you've reached that point, what you do is you just turn your pattern piece over, or you can take your pattern piece away and turn the fabric over, and then it will be on that side, and then carry on cutting until you've done the whole thing. Okay, so that's how you would do your main bow part. Now the straps, like I say, are really, really simple, and you've got to cut 1 of these. So because this is on the fold, what you can do is, this is going to be 61 centimeters in length. So what you can do is you can halve that to 30.5. Okay, or 31. It's up to you. You know, I mean, you can never have a strap too long. Okay, you don't want it too short though. But you need the most important part. Now I can follow these lines here because I've got stripes and plaids. Okay. Make sure that you start cutting. Put a slit there. And a slit at, where are we, 6 centimeters. Turn over the bit of fabric that you've just slitted. And cut again and again, and eventually it'll get longer and longer until you reach the width that you need, okay, which is 30.5, which would be over here. Okay, so eventually you'd be turning it and it would come to here, and then you will have been able to cut out the whole thing. And it's so easy, because what happens is, as you keep folding your fabric, it becomes a template, and it's easier to cut out. Now I've cut out all of my pieces here. That's why I'm not recutting this. But I can show you on the interfacing. So we're just going to fold this up out the way, and I'll show you all of the pieces that we've got here. So we have, just move this, the main bow tie strap. As you can see, it's 61 centimeters in length. We have here the main bow parts, and there are 2 of them. And we have the small bow part. So I'll just show you on here. This is a pattern. Now the small bow part is 5 centimeters, and you can clearly see that's a lot wider. It is 5 centimeters, and the length is 15 centimeters, and that is 15 centimeters. So you can clearly see that this is a lot bigger than this. But because it's oblong, you don't really need to show the exact size on the pattern. You can make this up yourself by cutting it and following the measurements. And again, the same as the main bow tie strap. This is 6 centimeters in length and 61 centimeters, 6 centimeters in width and 61 centimeters in length. Okay, so those are the pattern pieces that we need. Now we need to just finish off by cutting out the main bow tie part in interfacing. So we'll just get the interfacing. Now, you've got to make sure that your interfacing, or this is with any fabric really, that there's no parts that have been cut out underneath, because if you're cutting out a piece and then there's a piece that's cut out here, then you've got a piece missing and then you've got to recut it, so that's no good. So because we only need one part interfacing, oh hang on, I'm going to hear you. So cut 2 to fold in fabric and cut 1 to fold in interfacing. So we need to cut 1 in the interfacing. I'm just going to fold this over. So this is the size of the pattern, as you can see there. Okay. Now it's actually very. I've done mine very slightly bigger. You know, it's up to you how big you want it. Nevertheless, this is the classic size bow tie. But I've done mine very slightly bigger. You know, because I use slightly larger seam allowance, but this is the correct size. Okay, so don't worry about that. That is the correct size. So just going to place that on there and then just put a couple of pins in place. Now as you can see, this is on the fold. And we're just going to cut this out. Just cut this out exactly. So take your time, because it's one of these sort of, you're going around squiggly lines, as I like to call them. Squiggly lines. There we are. So that's our interfacing now cut out. And discard that, we don't need that. Discard our interfacing here. I'm going to take the pins out. And let's just unfold this. And the interfacing, as you can see, because that was on the fold, that both parts are identical. Absolutely identical. So if I put this on here, let's turn it round. It is identical. See that? Perfect match. Perfect fit. So we have interfacing on one of the bow parts, 2 main bow part panels, small bow strap, and the main bow strap. And those are all of the pieces that you need. So because now we've cut this out in the fabric, we can now start on the creation of the bow tie itself, which I'm going to show you in the next video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon.